Good morning once again to everyone who's present here for the Guru class. We appreciate your presence this Saturday morning. We're just going to start the session in a bit, maybe in just next 1 minute. Meanwhile, just few things that I would like to share here. So basically the Q&A section is open for all of you. So if you have any questions, generally about Unikaksha or maybe about the topic, you can always put down that question in the Q&A and we assure you that we will take up that question. So you please do take advantage of that Q&A session so that you can get all your queries resolved. All right, let me just go ahead and give you a brief introduction about the topic, about the mentor today. So you know what platform you are taking this group class on. All right, so if I have to give you a brief about, what is Unikaksha, we are an online upskillment platform that helps students and working professionals to upskill themselves in their tech career with the help of our tech mentors, top standard, industry mentors and industry relevant curriculum. So far, we have had a positive impact in the careers of 10,000 plus students. And today with this Guru class, we hope to help you in the same manner. So stay tuned while we go ahead and take up the topic today. So coming to the topic, are you all ready to ace your next Python interview and get your dream job? Are you all with me, guys? I mean, are you all ready to ace your interview? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm thrilled to invite you to our engaging and knowledge-packed webinar, Python Interview Master. Crack the code and land your job. This session will help you understand the common interview questions, how to prepare for them, and tips and tricks to make the best out of your interview. Keep engaging and asking questions wherever necessary, because this is seriously going to help you, understand how you can crack an interview. Not only this, we also will share a certificate of this Guru class with all the attendees post completion of this. Right, we would like everyone to share, it on LinkedIn by tagging us. Right, so we want you to launch your certification by tagging hashtag Unikaksha, hashtag full stack development, hashtag coding, hashtag learning, and hashtag Merns. So don't forget to tag us. Don't forget to flaunt the certification. By sharing your certificate, you'll demonstrate your commitment to continuous learning and professional growth, while also positioning yourself as a standout candidate in the eyes of the potential employers and industry. So you know how important it is for you to flaunt your certification. So don't forget to tag us as well. Hashtag Unikaksha, hashtag full stack development, hashtag coding, hashtag learning, and hashtag non-stack. There are only 5 hashtags, very easy to remember. So I hope you all will do this and it is for your own benefit. Lastly, I would like to go ahead and introduce my mentor. So your mentor who's going to take this session today is Swati. Swati is a senior trainer at Unikaksha, and in her journey, she has trained more than 10,000 plus students in different languages and technology. She has more than 8 plus years of experience in Java FSD, web development, and more than 2 years as a certified trainer in Java, web, and Python data science. Additionally, she has an extensive background in Java FSD curriculum development and training for working professionals. She is the best trainer to guide you for this Guru class. So let's welcome her, everyone. Welcome, Swati.
Hello, everyone. Good morning on a Saturday morning, right? Okay, so hi, my name is Swati Yadav. I'm the head of trainings at Unikaksha. As already been introduced by Ruby, my fellow mate over here. I have around 8 plus years of experience into Java full stack, Python full stack, Merns stack, Mean stack, and data science AI/ML. So I've been actively involved in development as well as to impart trainings. Now, that was about me. I love to hear you guys, where you guys are from, just to understand. And are you from the tech background or maybe from a non-tech background? If you could post your answers in the chat, that would give me a fair idea of how to lead with you guys, right? Great, I'm getting responses. 3rd year, very cool. Yes, I'm actively involved in AI. In fact, I just, finished my research paper recently on AI. So you could say, you could call me someone who has, my feet in all of the different directions, trying to, get the most out of this field that we are into. Great. So I see, most of you, all of you, I guess, are from tech background. So you already are aware of what Python is, right? That's great. Hi, Lujan from Jordan. Okay. So what's the agenda for our today's session? So to understand what this Python language is, how to crack the Python interview, and tips to each technique which are there, and what are the different opportunities in this particular field. Okay. Before I start with it, um, that's great, Mukarma. Before I start with it, Python developers, as you are already aware of, are in high demand. Yes? Because if you could see the trend, Python is kind of, everywhere. You can utilize and do with Python anything, let it be website building, let it be web application, desktop applications, simple softwares, mobile applications, gaming, as well as in your statistics and probability fields, or in your data science, AI, ML, everywhere Python has its own, domain, So, and you must ace these Python coding interviews to land interviews at top tech firms. Yes. So that is the end goal. We all want to be in the, the Fortune companies which are there, right? Python developer jobs have scaled over the last few years. And I see the trend, from the time that I started my own corporate journey. During that time only, there was a kind of, burst into this field. People were getting to know Python, because I remember very well how I got myself into Python. Everyone was talking about Python, be it my, even my siblings, they were all in this same field into, they are in CS, in IT, sectors. And at that time, I was still in college and I was told, that Python is the next big thing. So yes, so over the past few years, the jobs that are there for Python developers, it have scaled, as a language is used in various coding scenarios, from games to web applications by some of the world's largest companies, including your Netflix. Dropbox uses it, PayPal uses it. Okay. So they hire these Python developers to push the boundaries of emerging technologies, such as, data analytics, data science, AI, ML, natural language processing, right? So if you are preparing for technical interviews and you use Python as a programming language, the Python coding interview questions is going to help you understand what to expect exactly. So I'm going to talk about a few of them today. Okay. And we are going to see what, recruiters, they look for Python developers, as well as what are the best tips for outperforming the competition out there, right? So if you are preparing for the tech interview, for the tech lead, software engineer, software developer, or engineering manager positions, then this is the right place to see from where to start. Okay. So having trained over 10,000 people in my past, over, a good amount of experience that I have, I've seen, what is the trend, current trend going on. And in fact, being involved in the same field gives you the leverage of it, and how to crack the toughest, tech interviews which are out there, be it from any, big short companies which are there, right? So the highest offer ever received that I've seen from my, students that they've gone for a Python job is somewhere around 20 plus that I've seen, even more that you can nail for, right? So let's get into any questions. Yes, exactly. You can learn Python with DSA. So that is the thing, Python is not only limited to, let's say, data science. It's not only limited to mobile application and lets you do some, basic tasks. With data structures, yes. So data structures is, you could say, it's just a concept, now that can be applied with any programming language which is there, which has a support for DSA. And we do, I do provide trainings for Python with data structures and algorithm as well. Now, what is a Python language? So Python is a powerful general purpose programming language, that is interpreted. It's interpreted. It's a general purpose, programming language. It is high level. What do you understand by high level? High level, anyone? No. Which is closer to a natural language. Okay. Which is closer to, yeah, exactly. Human readable and is closer to the natural language that we have. It's not exactly the machine code. Now, machine code is something that we are not able to comprehend. It's all in zeros and ones, and something like that. But if we look at it, it's a simple command in zeros and ones. We'll not be able to decode that, right? We need an interpreter for it, a compiler for it. So it is used in web development, data science, creating software prototypes, and so on. Python developers, they are again in high demand when I talk about not only because of the language popularity and widespread use, but also because Python has become a solution, for variety of fields. From online softwares to data science and AI, there's enough for everybody to work on with Python. Yes. If anyone who's here from data science, you know that you can go with R or Python, but still people go with Python for that, right? Whether it's for analytics, for mining purpose and anything. So preparing for a Python job, interview is important to land a good developer job. Okay. And today we are going to talk about that. Now, let's analyze and see. I think we've talked about more of these things that, we are in a, digital world that is completely driven by the chunks of data, right? Or, code. Now, just imagine if I talk about data science over here, data science, the base thing that it is being based on. What is the base in data science? Anyone? What's the base of the whole this data science field? Anyone? That's data. Okay. You might have heard of the term big data as well. Analytical thinking, that's data. That's data. You have the data and you have to perform some operations on that. And that is not just some limited amount of structured data. That is unstructured, could be semi-structured or structured data. And you have to perform some actions on it, some operations on it. Right. So understand that in today's world, everything is being driven by, internet. Everything is over the internet. For each of the tasks that we are doing, there is one or the other commodity or software which is there that helps you to reduce that task. So everything, this is a digitized world, right? Earlier, we used to have classes, the offline classes. Now look, we are here sharing our thoughts over a topic, and that is from also different parts of the world. I have one of you over here from Jordan. I'm sitting in India. I do not know, maybe others are from other part of the world. So how it has made all of this so simple, right? Now, every industry, it depends on software for its proper functioning. Yes. With the advent of softwares, people are dependent on softwares for each of the tasks, whether it's being ledgers, or, maintaining maybe an e-commerce or, CRMs, everything is over this, it's dependent on a software. So we have a huge list of programming languages that facilitate the software development process. Many. If I talk about, there is Java, JavaScript, you have Python, C, C#, all of those things. Now, one of this is Python, which has emerged as the most lucrative and exciting programming language. There are the reasons I already gave you. I mean, like it's, the expansion of it is too vast. It can be utilized in almost all of the fields that we are currently working on in this digital world. So the main reason behind this is it's the extensive library support which is there and the frameworks that fuel up this process of using Python for almost any of the digital tasks. Okay. So that is about the Python advantages. Now, the few steps that I want to get into to crack your Python developer interviews, you need to follow is the first thing, data structures and algorithm. There was this question, one of you asked, right? That do I need to prepare DSA with Python? Yes. Okay. You need to do DSA with Python. You should be able, to compare and contrast simple Python data structures with the abstract data structure which is there. Okay. And you should be able to explain how you can utilize these features of Stack using Python, existing data structures in Python, which are, there are many different data structures like dictionaries, lists, or any custom implementation that you want to go for. You should be familiar with these basic Python data structures that you might have done, sets, tuples, dictionaries, lists, and how they are used to work together and provide a solution, how to even work with them, right? So an example of custom implementation that you can take up is to work on a linked list implementation. Okay. You can create a class over there, which could be a node. I hope you guys are aware of data structures. Are you aware of data structures? See, now Mukarma, you're asking about that you need to Mukara, sorry, I'm so sorry for that you need to land your career in data science. And do I need to know DSA? I suppose yes, you should know DSA. DSA is not a programming language, or it's not something which is different. When you are getting in with data, you should know how the data is being stored and which algorithms to use at times. Okay, so it is very important in any of the field that I have taken up. Maybe in the curriculum sometimes you might not find DSA with data science, but you need to know DSA. It opens your thinking capabilities over there, because now you know what kind of data structures are there, what can be applied if ever required. Otherwise, in data science, if you might have done it, there are mostly algorithms. The most part of your data science journey, it goes into learning algorithms and doing theory, and then comes the practical implementation of it, which is at the later stage. With data structure, you'll have that base, that base which is strong enough. Even if at sometimes you might have to go and code for something new, then you'll be able to do, and not just limited to some tools for data science itself. So yes, I suppose that DSA is important, as far as I am aware of that. Okay. So sorry for that. Then the next thing is you should be able to write code, and not exactly to write the entire code at one go, right? For example, if I give you any problem at hand, course is online. Monisha, course is online. So for example, if I give you any question to do, it's a programming question. What would be your first approach there? If there is a question, write a program to reverse a string. Okay. What would be the first thing that you are going to do? Anyone? What do you think would be the first thing here? Declare, acha, okay, declare a string. Okay, I'm not asking about the code right now. I'm asking about the steps to go on about it. Okay. Monisha, for the fees and everything, just stay back. There'll be, the team will take it up. Storing a string. The first thing that I believe anyone would do is to drive a process, right? is to think about which kind of structure, data structure I can use, what all method or a concept can be applied over here. It's about for any, coding question that you'll have, or for any programming problem that comes in front of you. The first thing is not straight away to jump onto any idea and just start writing. Oh. No, you don't do that, right? So the first thing that happens is that you devise a plan in your head, or maybe jot it down, maybe write an algorithm, right? Or a pseudocode to work about it. So that is what it says. You should know how to write code on a whiteboard or a paper and to draw out a pseudocode. What's a pseudocode? What's a pseudocode? It's exactly it's a mix of code as well as an algorithm. It's not exactly entirely in any programming language. It's a generic code that we write that can be implemented in any programming language which is there. Okay, that is pseudocode. Or you write an algorithm. Algorithm you're aware of. Step 1, declare 2 variables. Step 2, initialize them. Step 3, that is your algorithm. Step by step instructions. Okay, so the first step should always be this. Why I'm saying this? Because at this stage where you are writing algorithms, where you are, kind of brainstorming for a solution, you see that what improvements can be made in the code, where the code can be optimized, that gives you a better idea of it. Straight away, if you start programming, there are people that straight away start programming, get on and start with it. Now, they are very trained, you could say. They are already into this, they have done it a lot. They know everything. They are kind of know-it-all people. So I do not say that they are wrong, but if you're just starting your coding journey, you should at least have a plan, devise it. Okay. So whenever you go for any interview, suppose, and in there, if it's kind of like an offline, F2F, which is there, in that mostly it happens that they provide you with a notepad. They'll give you a question and ask you to write the pseudocode, or just ask you to write the logic. They do not want you to create some classes, apply some, or do the whole charade over there. They just want you to write the logic itself. That only comes with practice. People are mostly confused. So how can I write without creating a class? I mean, like, just give the logic already, right? So it's about that. So you should practice that, writing algorithms, writing, flowcharts. Yes, you can work on that. Pseudocodes. Yes, definitely. Then whatever projects you've created out. Okay. So handing out a fair amount of code that proves the ability of creating a piece of software is a perfect way to show you can code. It's very important that if you are going for a developer interview, whether you are a fresher or an experienced person, you should have projects listed out on your resume. Also, when I say they should also be deployed now, so that you can show that to the interviewer, you can explain it. Mostly it happens that I've seen in my career is, I go to any interview, I show them these are the projects that I work on, whether these were the industry projects or my just hobby projects, which I've done. My interview is only, around that. They do not ask any other question. They'll just ask based on your projects, which language, which APIs, which libraries, what you've done to implement this part or integrate this. And usually that is the truth. I even tell the students, my students, that have good projects on your resume. It actually makes your chances better for selection in interviews. Okay. There are many companies out there which might have, the same requirement, or they are working on a similar product, which you have created as a hobby project. Maybe suppose, let's say e-commerce. If you're applying for an e-commerce company, the one that works on those kinds of projects, and you've already done that kind of project as a hobby project for you. Now they see that, okay, you at least know something about e-commerce, and they'll redirect all of their questions based on that project alone, because that is the requirement that they are working on currently, right? So it's very important to have good amount of quality projects. It's not just the, quantity that you put 15 projects on a resume. No, put 4 projects, put 3 projects, but they should carry some quality over there. Okay. So also your resume should always be, suppose 3 languages. You are a good Java FSD developer. You worked on that. You're a MERN developer, you are a Python developer, suppose. And this is the opportunity. You've come to me, I'm taking your interview. The opening is for Python developer. Okay. Will you come over here and show me all the projects that you've done on Java, on MERN or something? Will I be interested in that when I'm looking for a Python developer? Yes or no? Will I be interested in that? No, right? No. So if you are good with, multiple technologies, make sure whenever you go for interviews, you curate your resume. Do not just have one resume created for all the different kinds of positions that you can apply for. At least, segregate them, or at least curate them based on the kind of role that you are applying to. So in there, if you have 10 projects, maybe I'm just giving an example, 10 is too huge sometimes. But if you have 10 projects on which only 3 were on Python and you're going for a Python role, just put those 3 in your resume for that Python. Okay. Or just submit a resume which is carrying those projects. Okay. You can list out your technologies, your skill sets, that's okay. But then why do you want to, fill up the space in your resume? So curate your resumes, okay, based on the kind of role that you're applying to. Okay. So now we have poll 1. All right. And I'll see that how far you guys are along with me. That.
All right, so yes, that's the poll time. We have a poll right on the screen here. So the question says, what are the basic data structure in Python? You have options here. The first one says as list, second one is tuple, third is dictionary, fourth is trees, and the last one is A, B, and C. Choose your answers wisely because this will show how attentive you are in this particular session. You will have very limited time to answer this question. So kindly just key in your answers right now. Once again, the question, what are the basic data structures in Python? All right, so we're just going to end the code in some time. All right, so that's amazing. We see maximum of them being attentive and giving the right answers. So let me, sorry, Swati, yes, you can take it ahead.
Sure. Let's move on to the next part. I hope until here you are getting a fair idea, everyone, that how you need to prepare and what topics you need to prepare for the interviews, right? The next thing comes in where you should have a basic understanding of front end. Now in front end, I'm not talking about have an understanding of React or maybe some in-depth, libraries of JS, at least a basic knowledge of, how the front end is being handled by the 3 basic things, which are HTML5, CSS, and JS. So the Python developer, when we talk about, mostly people think that you will always be working on backend, handling the backend. Now, what is backend? What is backend and front end? Anyone? What is backend and front end? Front end is something that we see on our screen. Suppose you're taking this class, so that Zoom platform that you have, that is front end. That is something the client or the user sees, the look and feel of any website. What is backend? Backend is the hidden functionalities of enabling this Zoom platform to take up this session, okay, or to enable a screen share. How is that happening? That is being done by the backend part. Now, Python developer, you must be thinking, ki, bhai, I'm a developer, I'm a Python developer. I know this programming language. Why do I need to get into this HTML, CSS, or JS now? What good use is there? Anyone? Anyone who can relate? Why do you need to have a basic understanding of front end? As a developer, you should know, what your application would look like. You can contribute to your application. You can provide useful insights for the same. You should not be the one who just sits and you just see, okay, fine, I just need to do this one task, I'm done. You need to be an entire package sometimes. Whenever you go for any interview, it's not just limited to Python. Maybe you're going for a Java interview as well, suppose. Over there also, they ask you, are you adept with HTML, CSS, and JS? Do you know how to handle, front end? Because that could, curtail as your part of job. Sometimes you might have it. Sometimes there is some issue that which is going on in the front end, and you might be required to solve that. You might be required to implement that functionality. So it's very important that you have the overall understanding of how an application works. What is front end? What is back end? How it is being connected together. That is very important. You cannot alone, work on one programming language. Okay. You cannot alone work on one programming language. That is the thing. You need to have an array of languages listed out for you to be a better developer. You do have that cutting edge, competition for that and to ace it. Okay. Because there are many people, those who know just only one thing, and that is not enough. That is only being mediocre. Okay. Sometimes. Now, the thing is, have the understanding to comprehend and solve problem, which is again the same thing which I've been trying to tell you, that, work with the problems. And it's not only about, I've solved lead code, I'm done with it. No, it's not about, just solving DSA problems. It's about to able to understand a problem. What could be a use case over there? What, things or tools that I can apply over here to get it, and how to code for it, which is different from the crowd which is giving me. For the same kind of problem, there are a number of ways to solve it. You, I think, might be aware of that. For the same kind of problem, the same question of reverse a string, I give it to you. There are different ways to reverse a string. Which one you go for decides how optimized your code is, how better a developer you are. Okay. So that is very important for you to comprehend and solve problems. Try to, able to understand the problem. Try and make inference and try and make, sense out of it, to work on that. So that is about understanding the problem. I'll take a poll two in just a while. Now, the next is that you should know the basics of other technologies as well, which is, I already, told you that it's very important that you have the skill set. Your tech stack is kind of varied, and it shows that you are an expert in those fields. Okay. Suppose I'm hiring for a Python developer, and there are two candidates, one who just knows Python and has a basic knowledge of it, has worked on, different projects and everything. One has an extensive knowledge of Python with different libraries and frameworks of Python, also knows a little bit of front end, has worked on it, and maybe an additional programming language. Which one is a better candidate for me to go for? Which one is a better candidate here for me to go for? The first one, who has only the basic programming knowledge of Python, can, okay, fine, solve some DSA questions, knows, how to implement it. Or the second one, who has multiple, or you could say multitude of languages listed out and has actually worked on them. It's not just for listing out the skill set. The second one, right? And why is that? Why do you think? Why do you think the second one is a better option for me? Both of them would be doing the same task of development in Python, but still why the second one is better? In what sense? We work on different. Yes, exactly. You're in a company. The company doesn't guarantee that all the while in the entire, span of this company, they're always going to work on Python alone. They'll be working, and even just on Python, you cannot build an entire application, right? You need framework knowledge. Yes, you need front-end knowledge. You need to know a DB as well. And maybe in future, they're switching from one one programming to another programming construct. Then, so you need to have a good tech stack, to set you apart from the crowd. So I think that's something that you're able to understand. What are some of the do's and don'ts of a Python developer job interview that you need to take care of? You should have basic knowledge. You should have a good amount of knowledge and control flow of Python. You are already aware of list comprehension. Use that because that gives you optimized and concise code. Object-oriented programming is very important in these days. Everyone is trying to build up their models based on OOPS concepts only. There are new features in Python like generators, decorators, Lambda. You should be aware of advanced Python. Okay. You should be prepared well so that you can explain your code. You can explain the scenario for which you're trying to build the code. Your analytical thinking should be online over here. Okay. What are the few don'ts? This is very general. This applies to any kind of the first point, which is then any kind of test, any kind of interview that you go for. Studying too much. Studying too much doesn't mean that you are just going to, lay back and be like, okay, I've done enough here. It's not that. It's just like, do not fret yourself. Do not exhaust yourself right before your interview. Okay. Have a calm composure before you go for an interview. Take a break. Because if you've already done everything, there is nothing left for you to do at the last moment. Okay. This happened to us. I mean, like, I remember being in that part, where before the exam, I had my book open back in engineering, and I'm still trying to mug up the last details. And what happens is, this is kind of psychological as well, you could say, that when you go to an interview, when you go to an exam center, you sit on your table, you see the page. The first thing that is retained in your mind is the last thing that you've studied. It happens. That's why it's always advised that, at the last moment, don't try to mug things up. Okay. Sometimes that is the only thing that you can retain in your head. And all the things that you worked on before, it kind of goes away. That is there. That's a medical thing. It happens. That's psychological. So that is what we say is avoid studying too much before the night of the interview and always go with a fresh mind. Okay. Don't try to avoid any question from the interviewer. Sometimes it happens. We do not know the answer and we just try to give up. Don't give up. At least show that you are trying over there. You know the concept may be around it, but you're not very well able to, solve it right now. But given the time and a little bit of effort, you'll be able to do that. Count your strengths, not your weaknesses. Okay. Don't argue with the interviewer, which is very basic. I hope each one of you is aware of that. Do not carry that arrogance while you go for an interview. Okay. If you have, and you are kind of famous for it, that you have the arrogance on your shoulders, just try to shove it, okay, before an interview, because that puts a wrong impression on the interview and no one wants to hire an employee that carries a lot of arrogance on them. You are, I suppose that, yes, you are someone who's knowledgeable, has a good amount of work and everything and experience. But if you try and show off that, you are the know-it-all and, that kind of attitude, they will never hire you. You'll be, told that, we cannot have you. The position is not there for you or something like that. It happens. Okay. It's a general thing. So do not be humble, in interviews. And whenever you are working in any environment, you need to be humble there as well. Even though at whatever stage, at whatever, position you'll ever reach on, but the general humaneness should always be there. Okay, for the work relations. Same thing to be applied for your interviews. Okay. Be confident enough. It's more like, fake it until you make it. So be confident, right? And don't be rude in any of the situation over there. So now I'm taking up poll 2.
All right, so let's start with the second question. We have the code right in the front of the screen. So the question goes like, which libraries not belong to front-end development in JS? You just have a single choice. You have multiple options here, which is Angular, Vue, Express, React, Nuxt. All right. So kindly key in the answer, as this will show if you have any kind of doubts, if you are wrong somewhere, choose the right answer here. You always have the liberty to put down the question in Q&A and get a clarification of that. Right. So I would request everyone to participate in this. Right. The poll is not going to last for long. So kindly just, key in the answer as quickly as you can. The question is, which libraries not belong to front-end development in JS? Okay.
All right, that's great. Still, I've got 50% of you answering. Yeah. So here the thing is, which library do not belong to front-end development is Express. Okay. That's the correct answer. All right. Express is for backend, Node, Express, Mongo, that's the thing. I'll come to your question, Nirmanpalli, Shrikant. How do we go high on confidence without fear? Before that, there are a few developer skills for coding, for cracking these coding challenges that you should be aware of, should be familiar with for Python interviews. First concept is your object-oriented programming, very well on it. It's asked everywhere, even the simplest of the questions. Sometimes the students are not able to answer because they think it's not much important, but it carries a lot of weightage. Even in your development phase, you'll have to work around loops. DSA, very important again. You should know how the data is being stored, retrieved, what kind of structures to use on for that, okay? Right? And simple things, what kind of data types are there, how to create variables, how to work with them. Data analysis, you should be aware of data analysis, the libraries required for data analysis in Python. Exception handling is very important. File handling is again very important. Exception is, the code that you're writing, it should be able to handle the exception and not crash the whole application, right? Simple frameworks which are there, you can work with Django, you can work with Flask, you can work with CherryPy, etc. Different Python libraries like NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow, Scikit. You should be kind of aware. NumPy and Pandas are actually important. They are considered, as part of a Python basic curriculum sometimes, Machine, if you are into machine learning and AI, then you should delve into ML and AI as well, or work with PyTorch, the library. Along with that, you should have basic knowledge of CRUD operations. Okay. You should have basic knowledge of CRUD operations. CRUD means creating, reading, updating, and deleting, and along with your database knowledge, right? So these are something which is simple, basic, and is part of these interviews. If you have these kind of things, this tech stack is in your, profile, in your resume, then definitely, you are a better candidate than compared to someone who just knows a little bit of Python, who just knows a little bit, maybe something a little bit more into that. But if you have these things, a different kind of, you have a DB knowledge, you have, front end knowledge, you have, how to work with DSAs and object oriented and simple concepts which are there, you are far better, developer out there. Okay. Now the thing is, what the recruiters, they look in any developer. Right. Now, that is a question. From my end, I know that if I'm hiring for anyone in my team and I want a developer, I want these kinds of tech stack in him, for him to be versatile in my team. Right. So you should know that what recruiters, they look for a Python developer to ensure that they hire the right candidate for their team, for their company. The top tech companies, they expect developers to produce reusable quality code. If you get hired, you will have to write code. Yes, you will have to write the server side, as well as you might be involved with client side application logic, right, including the development of backend or DB. So as a Python developer, you will also need to know how to design and implement quality applications. That is the same thing. There is one program question I give you, and there are 10 different ways to do it. You do it with the most brute force approach which is there. And the another candidate does it with the good, kind of knowledge. He has the code optimized and everything working fine with good space and time complexity. Which candidate is preferred over here? The second one, who actually knows that which, um, code or part is better for you to utilize over here and to implement this space and time complexity. Okay. So I'm going to go with that. So you should be able to implement quality application, connect the application with other third party web services or APIs which are there. And to prove yourself that you are an ideal candidate, you must possess knowledge of the web frameworks, different frameworks which are there in your Python, object relational mappers, ORM, which is there. Then RESTful APIs. REST is mostly used a lot these days, right? So that REST APIs, you should be able to work with that. You should have the qualities of a leader in you to lead the entire team, even from the start, even if you're not just a simple member of a team or a junior, developers. But people look for leadership qualities a lot, who can own to their mistakes, who can own and, lead the team all at once in maybe in times of difficulty. Sometimes it happens, how you handle your teams. It's very important. So team management should also be there. Time management should also be there. Okay. So I suppose I've brought it to the end. Now I am going to have the third poll this time.
So this is the third and the last poll of this morning. All right. So the question goes like, find odd one out of who's in an interview. Right. So the first one is understand the concepts of object-oriented programming. Another one is know the use of generators. Third one goes like practice writing codes on paper or whiteboard. And the last one is prepare well so that you are able to explain each and every line. All right. So I think this topic was just recently covered by Swati just a few minutes back. So I'm sure there shouldn't be a difficulty. All right. So kindly key the answer for the final poll this morning. Find the odd one out of do's in an interview. We're going to end the poll soon. So kindly just key in the answer. All right. Okay, I see a lot of you all are confused with this question. So the correct answer was basically option E. Try to avoid coding questions from the interviewer. All right. So in case if you have any questions, we have the Q&A open, and we have Swati with us still, so you can raise the questions and get all your doubts clear. So we have kept this Q&A open. So we already have a question in the Q&A, Swati. So if you would want to take that up.
Yeah, how do we get high confidence without fear? I mean, like that only comes with practice, Shrikant. But yes, you need to have a positive attitude towards yourself, which is very important. Sometimes I see students, they are good students, performing well, doing everything that they can, and they are at the top of their class, but they fail the interview because still they do not believe in themselves. The first thing that starts is being patient with yourself. Also to give yourself that space to understand where you are lacking and how you can improve on that. So that is, how you can build up your own confidence. No amount of any other work or by anyone can give you that confidence, which you can build up for yourself. So practice self-compassion sometimes, be empathetic towards yourself. Understand that you are, it's okay to make mistakes. Understand that it's not the end of the world. Suppose I've seen students, they go in for the first interview ever in their life, and if they fail it, they're devastated. Devastated. I mean, like, they're like, I learned a lot, I did this, I did that, I put in so much amount of hard work and still I failed. Something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. Maybe this opportunity was not right for you. Something better is in storage, right? I'm not being a diplomat over here, not taking a philosophical class. But the thing is, this is true, be kind to yourself. Do not think and do not decide on just one failure that comes your way, you know. So that is how you're only going to become confident over here. This from my own life anecdote, I'll tell you. Back in my college, when we started for internship and everyone needed to get an internship, though being on top of my class, I was not able to bag an internship at that time. And I was depressed because now my score and everything, I'm the, the top scorer, right? The top scorer, the first, who's always at the first, and still I'm not able to bag an internship. Everything was done. My resume was so good and everything. But this was about my second year of college. And people, those who were not good, those we thought that, they are not good and everything, they were having good internship with people, different, good companies. And I was still thinking, what went wrong here? The only thing that went wrong is I was too afraid of the failure that, came. One failure decided that, I'll not be able to do it anymore. But that was not it. I did try, I did work on on myself. I gave myself that courage. Okay, it's only, failure. It doesn't define you. It doesn't define you anymore. And I got placed with a very good MNC then. No one else from my college was in that company. So that is the thing. So you need to work on that. Practice self-compassion. You need to give yourself that break sometimes. Okay. क्योंकि डर सबको लगता है. Okay. So that is the thing. You'll face those things in life and just don't be disheartened. What I tell myself if I ever fail in any of the tasks that I do, if not me, then who? Right. So have that confidence in yourself. If not you, then who? No one else could do that for you. So only you need to put in the hard work. You need to prep yourself up for it.
Okay, so I see there's another question in the chat for you, Swati. So Monisha is asking what we can learn for becoming a software developer. So basically, she wants to know what all skills are required for.
I think I kind of brought it up. If you are aiming for in the field of Python development, it's very important for you to have a good amount of knowledge first of the programming language, work on the data structures which are there, have an equal good knowledge in front end as well as the server side. Work on only just one basic knowledge that I know programming is not enough. It's not enough, to be very honest. You do just basic Python, nothing will happen. No good company, no good opportunity will come to you. You need to sell yourself as a whole package deal, that this as well. So if you want to become a software developer, choose a language, whichever programming language you are inclined towards to. Suppose, let's say you're Python. Learn about different frameworks of Python. No, not yet. Okay, learn about the different frameworks of Python which are there. Okay. Choose any one. I'm not saying that you should have knowledge of all the different 20 frameworks which are there. Choose one. Become good in that. Okay. Ace that. Have front-end knowledge. Have a back-end knowledge of server side as well. Okay. And a DB. That is most required. And a DB. With Python, SQL goes well, as well as now, if you are aiming towards data science field, you need to have a knowledge of NoSQL. So any NoSQL DB works fine over there. Usually Python people, I advise go with NoSQL. Okay. It actually opens your, opportunities. Many different opportunities comes with that. All right.
Okay. Monisha, you again asked a question in the chat stating what are the things we want to do for an interview. I think Swati covered the do's and don'ts of the interview.
Exactly. I think I took that. You know, what are the do's and don'ts for an interview that you need to take care of? First is to build up your tech stack. That is very important. You cannot go unprepared. You need to prepare yourself very well. All right. And then to work your way up on your confidence, on your communication skills. Communication is very important. Your confidence is also directly proportional to how well you are able to communicate. You could be a better person. You could be someone who has all the technical knowledge, you know, performing well and everything. You're not able to communicate it well, everything goes to waste. All right.
Yeah. Uh, Guys, I have put down the social media handle for Unicaksha. So it includes the YouTube channel, the Instagram page, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Kindly like, follow, and subscribe us so that you're updated about what all webinars we are conducting, so that you keep receiving information about these webinars and group class, and you can join them. All right, so kindly just like, follow, and subscribe. Also, Monisha, you can always, look at this video because we upload this particular guru class on our YouTube channel. So kindly subscribe us so that you have the notification once the video is uploaded. So you can have a look through and you can just check again, revisit, the do's and don'ts of the interview as well. Guys, we will just wait for another 2 minutes, for any question. Would request you to kindly put the questions in the Q&A so that it becomes easier for us to, just pick up that question and not, the question doesn't get lost in so many chats that we receive. So if you have any questions, kindly put that in Q&A so that we take up. Also, based on this session, I would like to throw some light about the programs that Unicaksha, provides. So as mentioned at the beginning of this class, we are an upskillment platform wherein we go ahead and train candidates from different segments, right, from different domain to basically upskill themselves and, build a career in IT. So we have many programs that comes with 100% job assistance, right? And the average package, that we have provided to the candidates that have gone via us is, 6 to 8 lakhs. And we have also reached the highest bracket of 26 lakhs. So if you want to know more about the programs that we can offer, we actually conduct a personalized counseling session, understanding about your background, about your knowledge, and then recommending the right course for you, depending upon the situation, your requirement, and your skill set that you already possess. So we will just run a poll right away. All right. So in case if so you have the poll right here, that are you interested to know more about our programs? So in case if you're interested to know more about what we offer, how we can help you become a job ready candidate, we can help you get a job. Kindly key in a yes so that our counselors can, just get in touch with you and have a detailed counseling session. All right, so we at Unicaksha do have many programs for skill set, for jobs, for placements. So we have many things, in the bucket for you all. So we will understand your profile, analyze the situation, and recommend the report. So if you want to know more about the program, kindly key in a yes, and you will receive a call very shortly. And also at Unicaksha, we help you get interview ready as well, because we have interview preparation as the part of the programs, and we have a different program for interview, getting an interview ready candidate. So if you are interested in that too, still you can key in a yes and we'll be there. So just last few seconds for the poll to end. Kindly key in your answer. I would request everybody to answer that. Okay, thank you so much for participating in that poll. Um, which field has demand like data? So Swati, I think that would be the last question that we'll take. Says which field has demand like data science or Python developers?
which field? I think every field is currently looking for, automation, for artificial intelligence, whether you talk about finance, you talk about robotics, you talk about, aviation, healthcare, everywhere, you'll see data science, and, the demand for Python development is increasing. You talk about healthcare, so many different, appliances for health, many different machineries for health are all, functioning on artificial intelligence. So yes, there the demand is there. So in each of the field that I have seen so far, somewhere or the other, unknowingly or knowingly enough, DS is already present. You talk about your phone, you have Google Assistant, you have, if you're on iPhone, you have Siri. That is also your artificial intelligence.
Monisha, we see we have a question from you. Which languages in trend now, so that we can learn that. As we just ran a poll which says you want to more, you want to know about the programs. If you have keyed in a yes, definitely we'll get in touch with you. We'll have a personalized counseling session with you and let you know the best possible option in today's. All right. Yeah, we just about to session. We just about to end the session. All right. So before we, just part ways now, I just want to give you a gentle reminder that you will receive, all of you who have invested your time to learn how to ace the interview today with us, will receive a certification via mail. All right. So you'll be shortly receiving these certifications on email. And I would request you to share these certificates on LinkedIn by tagging us. There are five, very easy hashtags to remember. So just upload your certification and tag us. That's hashtag Unicarsha, hashtag full stack development, hashtag coding, hashtag learning, and finally hashtag non-stack. So kindly go ahead and launch your certificate on LinkedIn. I am just posting this hashtag in the chat so that you don't forget. You can copy paste and keep it in your WhatsApp so that it becomes easier for you to tag us. This will help you, track a lot of opportunities from potential employers. All right. So last 1 second. Okay, perfect. I think that is the end of today's session. Thank you so much for being a part of this session. We appreciate your presence. We look forward to see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much. Happy weekend.